Alright, now what did you say?
I said, just give me
Hold
like
on.
more.
What? I'm trying to figure out how this guy's peeling this kiwi. Alright, now what?
Dude, just figure out how the dude's peeling a kiwi then first.
I did. Now what?
Now I'm just being annoyed at you, that's all.
Why?
Because you're like, come on, you're rushing me after like I asked you 10 times, like, hey, just let me know if you want to do it or not.
And I did.
Baby, what's the deal? You wanna watch Netflix and chill? Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if you want to peel. Baby, what's the deal? You wanna watch Netflix and chill? Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if you want to peel.
What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys episode number 13. Is it 13? Shh, I didn't introduce it yet. Is it episode 13?
It's 14, dumb fuck.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Hold on. Yes, I'm like 99.9% sure. Hold on.
I don't think so.
It's episode 14, dumb fuck.
Bringing you guys episode number 14 of the Netflix and Chill horror podcast. Joining me tonight, as always, is my one and only co-host, Miss Carly.
Oh. Carly.
Why do you say it as if it's spelled like Carlee?
That's not how I said it,
Yeah, you
buddy.
said Carly.
Yeah, that's my happy voice.
So you change the spelling of your name when you're happy?
But I don't understand, like, in your head, spelling is a thing, but, like, that's not, no, that doesn't make any sense. The Y still sounds like E, so.
I don't know. Anyway, we're back again, and we're going to do a little bit, well, I guess it's not too different. We've done a TV series before.
Yeah.
We did Santa Clarita Diet. Still waiting on season 2 of that, baby, because that was really fun. I hope there is a season 2. But tonight we're covering The Core, a Shudder exclusive, not Shudder exclusive, a Shudder original series, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
And we'll get into that in a second, but how have you been?
I've been alright, buddy. Just, working. I'm sure you see me at work. Mm-hmm. And, that's about it. Just started back up on school, so now I'm doing that as well.
Boring. You got anything exciting to talk about?
And I've been buying movies and things like that. And you and I do most things together, so it's hard to really
I'm literally
express.
Not asking you because I'm interested, because I'm actually not. I'm asking you so our listeners know what's up.
Okay, but like a better wording would be like, hey, so what have we been up to as a team?
No, we're not a team, first of all.
We're best friends.
We're not best friends.
BFF?
I don't know where you get this shit at.
We're buddies, so we spend every waking moment together.
Okay.
That's what best buddies do.
Enough. Anyway,
okay.
I've been, chilling, watching a lot of movies and stuff like that. I did watch a lot of The Core. I was like really hyping The Core when it came out. And then I pretty much finished up. I only had one episode left. And I took a break from it. And then I guess this is my pick this week for The Core. And I wanted to say that before we get into it, that a lot of cool stuff has happened. Over the Super Bowl, there was a trailer for Cloverfield.
I thought you were going to talk about the Super Bowl.
No. What is it, Cloverfield Paradox?
I think it's called The Cloverfield Paradox.
Same thing. That was a huge surprise. I love the concept behind that, where they made a third Cloverfield movie, which was supposed to be the God Particle. So and now there's like another Cloverfield movie and like potentially another Cloverfield movie that's like in the works. So I'm like really confused, considering I haven't watched Paradox yet, but the reviews were not great coming out of it. I believe we both liked Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the first one
Oh,
as
I
well.
love the first one. I give that one like a 9 out of 10. But
I preferred Lane,
that's
but
crazy.
what?
I said that's crazy.
Nah. I just liked.
You like the
I
big
just
sci-fi action ending.
No, dude, you're just fake. I like John Goodman's performance in it, and I don't know, like like I don't think all the reviews were like terrible for this new one. I saw a lot of people who seemed to be happy with it.
Well,
I
I'm
thought,
speaking more critically than like the Facebook groups and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I even in the Facebook groups, I felt like I seen a lot more negative than positive. But Netflix took a huge risk on this one because I think they spent like $50 million acquiring that or whatever, and that's pretty insane. It might not have been 50. It was a lot of money though, and
yeah,
it seems like only a handful of people watched it. I don't know, like not a handful, like millions, but I don't know if it did like super well. So, which is kind of disappointing because that means that this non-traditional release, being that they just dropped it on a cool Super Bowl ad, might not happen again, which sucks because that means we're going to get the traditional press release, teaser poster, poster, teaser to the teaser trailer, trailer, second trailer, third trailer, red band trailer.
yes, buddy, yes,
8
we know.
clips, image stills, all that stuff, which I hate. I think that it's just too much, but I do like a little bit of hype. Like I like when they come out with little things here and there, but I just like when things drop, it's like now you can watch it right now. And if it did bad, I don't know if they'll necessarily do that again. So that's a little disappointing. But there's other that I feel like Shudder gets new exclusives like 2 to 4 times a month. It feels like so. We have plenty of content to go, and Netflix is getting a lot of stuff. They just had a new, I think it's like Rituals or something like that. There's like a new movie that dropped or something like that on there that looked kind of horror. It's hard to keep up, honestly. Like if we were doing the show weekly, it would be easier to keep up, but because we do it like sporadically, it's a lot harder to keep up.
Yes.
At this point, we're kind of monthly.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, no, think about it. We had 12 episodes in 2017.
I guess we did, huh? I haven't even.
And then this is our second of 2013.
Yeah, all right.
Or
Okay, we're a monthly
2018.
podcast, everybody.
No, I mean, I want to go more frequently, but I have so much. Dude. What do you have?
I know, buddy. I have a lot.
You have things, I guess. Some.
I have school. I have work. I guest star up on all these pods. I'm a very busy person, to be honest.
Nobody wants.
I have a
you to
YouTube
guest
channel.
star.
What?
I said nobody wants you to guest star. Where are you getting that at?
Everybody does, including you.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the core.
Awkward. Yeah.
So the core is a TV series that is on Shudder. It runs like a half hour per episode.
They actually kind of vary. It seems like some episodes run to like 40 minutes and then some are like 25. But yeah, I'd say roughly like a half hour.
Yeah. So, which is the benefit of having like a non-commercial based product, right? Because like when you have commercials, you have to fill a time slot. These are not time slots. These are, just released and they could be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, stuff like that. There's not a certain amount of ads that they have to fit in. They kind of released this one interestingly though, because they added a new episode every week. Instead of like all at once, and it makes me wonder if they were like filming them and editing them while they were going, like maybe they weren't like all done and wrapped up when they released the first one.
Yeah,
I'm very interested to see if a season 2 will happen. I kind of got a little bit worried because they released that one like short episode, like the bonus episode, which we'll get to, but that was, I Was that the last thing they released?
The bonus thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if that was the last thing they released, like, it makes me a little worried that it was like a scrapped episode, because I believe that when they announced this, they said it was going to be a 10-episode run. And they have 9 episodes plus that bonus. So I was wondering if that was like a scrapped episode. And they released the bonus part.
Yeah, maybe. Because I was going to say maybe they just, like, were trying to say, oh, it's going to be 10 episodes. But, like, really, they just meant one of them's not really an episode. But I guess that kind of makes sense. It could have just been, like, the ending bit or something. But I don't know.
Yeah, like, because it is just the end part, right? Like, it's like...
Yeah, basically.
It's like a part of an episode. Which I really liked, but at the same time, it just was like, oh man, like, I hope this isn't a bad sign here. Because this is truly one of my favorite things of 2017.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And, you know, spoiler alert, I love this show. But I tried to reach out to the host, Mickey Keating. He's a director, and I was like, hey, do you know what's up with Shudder exclusive, you know, thing? The Cord, is there going to be a season 2, blah, blah, blah. And I just sent that tweet out, like, earlier today, so he hasn't got back to me. Hopefully he will. And if he does, I will update you guys on a future Netflix and Chill episode. But The Cord is very interesting. So it's... debuted in October of 2017 with its Halloween special. And the Halloween special is a little bit different, but the show pretty much has like a standard format. It's like an opening gag, and then it's like an interview with somebody who's like, you know, a director, writer, something like that. It's hosted by this guy, Mickey Keating, right?
Correct.
And Mickey Keating is a director. You know what made me like really sad is I looked at his IMDb.
Yeah.
And he was born in 1990, so just 1 year earlier than me. And he has directed 6 movies, and he hosts the damn show. And I'm just like,
yeah, buddy.
God dang it. Like, everybody's so much more successful than me.
Buddy, that's a dumb comparison. I mean, there's babies who are, like, famous, and you don't see me crying because I wasn't a baby famous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel you. I didn't realize he was that young, though.
Yeah, he directed a film called Ultraviolence in 2011. I never seen that. A film called Ritual in 2013. I haven't seen it. He directed Pod in 2015, which actually was pretty good. It wasn't the best movie ever, but it was pretty good. Darling in 2015, which is probably one of his more popular movies. It was on Netflix. It might have been a Netflix original. I can't really remember. But it made a few top 10s 2 years ago in 2015. And he directed Carnage Park in 2016. Actually, Darling, I think, got its like official release in 2016, and Carnage Park got its official release in 2017. Which I haven't seen Carnage Park. And then this year's release of Psychopaths. Technically, it was made and released in 2017, but got its official release in 2018 on DVD. I actually had a screener copy for it in 2017, a digital one that I never got to, and actually had an interview op. They asked me if I wanted to interview him, and I didn't know who he was really at the time, so I declined. And now I wish that I would have, because that would have been really cool. Like, had I seen The Core, I could have maybe, you know, looked at a couple of other of his films by the time I had the interview, and probably had a really cool interview, because I feel like I could talk to that guy and wouldn't feel, you know, weirded out or whatever, you know. Like,
when was that you got that?
It was like probably right after I started watching The Core, but I didn't know who he was. Like, I didn't know his name yet.
Okay.
Like,
I thought it was like before The Core came out, and I was going to say, well, that's kind of sucky that it was like flipped like that. But yeah, I understand what you mean. You didn't really
I didn't know it was
look
him.
into him.
Like,
Yeah.
that, like, they said the director of Psychopaths, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know that film was not even on my radar.
Yeah.
Which Jeremy seemed to hate. Moods loved it, or at least very much liked it. I'm actually going to pick up all of this guy's films, because I really want to support him because I like him so much, like, on the core. And I did see 2 of his films already that I both liked. So, you know, why not? Why not support this guy?
I haven't seen any of his stuff, but I kind of want to like look into him more now too because he seems very likable. Kind of reminds me of like a young Adam Green of sorts.
Yeah, yeah. And he writes all his films too, which I give bonus credit to because that's neat. So much like Adam Green. So he's the one that's hosting it. So after the like main interview with like whoever the guest is, there's usually like a special effects expert that comes on, and he kind of like walks them through like an effect, and it's really neat. And then usually after that, there's like another interview with like somebody who isn't like a horror director or anything like that, but deals with something dark, like somebody who runs a sideshow or like some kind of psychologist, you know, who explains like why we fear clowns or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes they watch scenes from a movie, from like whatever they're talking about, like body horror with the Soska sisters, or they're talking about, you know, some of the most suspenseful, like tension-filled scenes with like Lee Winnell, or like jump scares with Lee Winnell, or something like that, or you know, look at some of Tobe Hooper and George Romero's best scenes, and I like that because they give like a live commentary on the scenes. And then they sort of wrap it up with a recommendation segment where it's like kind of set up like a video store, but like no cover art, like all the tapes are like blank white cassettes, but there's a guy there who is basically recommending Mickey some films along with the viewer. And it's set up like as if he's going to like a video store almost, and like an underground joint. And these are all films that also are on Shudder. So it's really neat to hear these recommendations. And the guy who's giving the recommendations is actually the curator for Shudder. The guy that actually, like, a lot of these like streaming services, they don't really have somebody who's like handpicking titles. It's just like it's like more business, like we create a deal to sign these titles. But this guy is like actually like watching movies and seeking out like new cinema and different things that they can put on Shudder and stuff like that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I've been talking a lot. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to go through the episodes? Like, how do you want to do this?
I don't know. We could talk about like, I mean, some of the guests. Like, I think it's cool. You know, they have like Mary Herron, if that's how you say it, the Soska sisters, Lee Winnell. Like, it's cool because these people are, you know, they're not all like directors. Like, some of them are writers, some of them are actors, some of them are like special effects people. So I think it's interesting. He gets this like wide variety of like completely different people, because like you have Mary Herron, who directed American Psycho, of course. Like, she's like this like older, like probably like 50-some-year-old woman, and then like
I think she's
you have
older than that, dude.
Yeah, I guess probably, but older woman, and then you have like the Soska sisters, who are these like, you know, younger, like independent.
Yeah, Mary Herron is 65.
Oh, whatever. I was close. 50s, 60s, they're all the same. But you know, it's just like you don't really get bored with it because they're like totally different people, and they're talking about their different perspectives on like the horror genre and things like that. Like,
yeah,
I really like.
So one of the cool things that they do here is whoever they bring in, they sort of center the episode completely around that person, minus the first episode, which was the Halloween special, but. For like example, like Simon Barrett. Simon Barrett was the writer of You're Next, The Guest, Blair Witch, and they talk tension. And they like even set the episode up with them having their hand in blenders and like talking about questions, and it's the suspense and tension of them having their hands in their blenders is supposed to be a commentary on tension in general.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So each guest, they kind of pick a topic, and usually that guest has something to do with the topic, sometimes not, but most of the time they have something to do with that topic, which is really neat. It's a great setup. And there's so many interesting things here. Like, even the first episode, besides the Halloween special, obviously, which was the first episode, the second episode, the like, I guess the traditional style that they go forward doing the episodes, is an episode featuring Flying Lotus, who was like a music guy who got into directing, and he directed a film called Kuso, which is actually a Shudder exclusive.
And that's the one where they be talking about, like, vomit and whatnot.
Yeah,
correct?
Like, there's this great scene where, like, there's a lot of, like, gags, no pun intended, that...
literally.
Yeah, that they do. Like Mickey's always, like, getting hurt or killed or something. Or, like, getting gross stuff on him. Or, like, you know, like, he's kind of the butt of the joke sometimes, which is really neat, you know? It's like... It's a show that doesn't seem to take itself too seriously, but still does at the same time. And it's really a talk show. And it's just, the lineup is great. Like, the segments are really good. I like each of the segments.
And, like, how you said they watch clips from movies, it's also cool because, like, the clips are usually, like, the guest they have on is usually their, like, top 10, like, penis breaking scenes and things like that.
Yeah, so
like it's
you're referencing the Soska sisters.
Yeah, like it was their
episode,
top 10.
They talk a little bit. They talk a little bit about their, you know, filmography and stuff like that, and then they get into like practical body horror effects, and then they talk about the best penis mutilations and watch clips.
Yeah,
which is funny because the Soska sisters are female and often considered really attractive amongst the horror community. I find them a little
they're
odd.
creepy.
Yeah,
I think
they feel a little odd to me, like weird. Like, I don't know if it's a gimmick, like they're like trying to come off that way, or they actually are just like weird as hell.
I think it's a mixture of both. Like, they definitely have like a style that's very like gothic and just like off-putting and creepy, and they're identical twins, which just makes it like creepier. But like, I also feel like obviously they're in this line of work, so they're definitely like a little bit of weirdos. But yeah,
and Jen and Sylvia Soska are the Twisted Twins, the Canadian twins. Like, they were kind of known on YouTube a little bit before their first film, Dead Hooker in a Trunk, took off, and then it's kind of been full steam ahead since then. They put out American Mary, which I think is like their best movie, and they quickly kind of went into the director for hire type world. So to kind of go over the episodes a little bit, I guess the first episode is the Halloween special. And this one has Adam Green and Danielle Harris. And this episode's like the least fresh in my mind, but I remember, I think they were talking about the Halloween franchise a little bit, right? Or were they talking about Halloween in general?
They were talking, I think they were mainly just talking about the Halloween franchise. Like, they go over the different masks in the movies.
Get to that, but I meant like the actual like interview with Adam Green and Danielle Harris.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think they're just talking. I think it's mainly just focused on like the movie Halloween. Mm-hmm. But they also do some like special effects stuff where I think they tore open a head.
That is the best one. They tear open the head with like Adam Green. Adam Green actually looks super interested in the effect. Like, he's like, wow, I need one of these for my movie. You know what I mean? And they completely like destroy this head. Like, it just starts off with, like, it was so detailed. Like, I'm like, how the hell did they make this thing, you know?
Yeah, and then it's like, he even says, like, you do all this work just to have it, like, splatter and be destroyed. Mm-hmm. And it's just really cool.
Yeah. And one of my favorite segments on the Halloween special was when they brought in Sean Clark, who I'm a huge fan of. I love Sean Clark. He's the host of Horror's Hallowed Grounds. He wrote the Horror's Hallowed Grounds column in Horror Hound magazine. And he basically tours locations of famous horror movies. Like, so he'll go to the different locations of Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 and, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all these different locations, and he'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. And he came on, and he's also an avid prop collector. So he came on with all these different Halloween masks, and he went through the series from Halloween 1 all the way to H2, the remake. And it was very interesting to see all in front of you the progression of the masks, because he had replicas for many of the movies and even actual props from some of the movies.
Yeah.
So you saw the mask in Halloween 1, you saw how it changed to Halloween 2, you saw the 3 masks from Halloween 3, you saw when Myers returned in Halloween 4, 5, 6, and then H2O was like very weird because there was like a huge controversy with the masks in the productions of that episode, where they kept changing the mask while they were in the middle of making the movie. So, and at one point it's like an entire CG mask.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I never noticed that growing up.
Yeah, me neither. Now it's so like ridiculously obvious.
Yeah. And you know, obviously he talks about Halloween remake and H2, the Rob Zombie version. Like, it was really neat. Like, that was one of my favorite. That's when I knew, I was like, okay, I love this show.
Yeah, it's definitely very, like, you know, it's almost like watching something like a Friday the 13th documentary or something. Like, yeah. Just very comforting. If you don't feel like watching a movie, you could put this on.
Yeah, and they just whiz by, too. And then, like I said, the second episode was with Flying Lotus, who was a Grammy-nominated music producer, creator. And he made a movie called Kuso, which is like very controversial. It's a movie that you might say is very much style over substance. It's just a completely insane gore fest. I have not seen it yet, but I've literally heard people say that it was the worst film of 2017. And it just looks absolutely gross. Like, it has every bodily fluid from like puke to snot, semen, you know, poop. Apparently a lot of people walked out of it at Sundance. The first review here on IMDb says displeasing, unwatchable, ugly. Basically, it's quite fun. So clearly some a little bit of mixed signals there with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they interview him, and they have this like gross out like vomit thing. And then they actually create vomit with a special effects artist, which is pretty cool.
Pretty gross, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably definitely the grossest episode.
Yeah.
Then you had episode number 3 with Simon Barrett, writer of You're Next, The Guest, Blair Witch. You're Next is awesome. The Guest is awesome. And they talk tension in this episode. That one was pretty cool as well. I thought Simon Barrett did a good job. You remember anything from that episode?
That one's like not that fresh in my memory, just because I wasn't really familiar with who Simon Barrett was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the blender part was pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Then you have the Soska sisters, and they have, of course, like I mentioned, they filmed their first movie, Dead Hooker in a Trunk, on a meager $2,500 budget, which is crazy. They both act in it, and they pretty much did everything themselves. And this film is actually getting a Blu-ray release by, I believe, Horror Pack, correct?
Yeah.
Why do you sound disappointed?
Because you ruined the surprise for me, but whatever.
It was originally released by IFC, and I believe it was actually the title that officially launched their IFC Midnight label. So that was really cool. American Mary, huge fan of that film. It was, I believe, my like number 3 of 2014 or so, 2013. Had tons of critical acclaim. Just a very awesome, badass revenge film that takes body horror and body modification and makes a horror film out of it. And then they did their ABCs of Death 2, which was, their segment, whatever. T is for torture porn. I can't really remember it. And then they directed See No Evil 2, which was like a weird sequel to a film that nobody expected a sequel to happen to. And then they did Vendetta, which is an action flick. So, and these are WWE produced movies here. So like now they're kind of doing their director for hire type thing. They also hosted Hellevator, which I've never watched. I assume it's like just a game show where people were scared in an elevator or something like that. And then I think their newest venture is a remake of, I believe, what the hell are they remaking? It's like a David Cronenberg film. Shivers? Or
maybe.
It's either Shivers or Rabid. And it's kind of interesting because they're Canadian, and of course David Cronenberg is the best thing to ever come out of Canada. So that could be kind of interesting. Of course, it's body horror, which David Cronenberg is known for, and of course the Soska sisters also very well known for with films like American Mary. So yeah, they were fun on there. They I love how excited they were at the penis mutilations.
Yeah, they seemed like the type to be real excited about that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things where they watched the scenes and comment on it. And then, and don't they actually like cut off Mickey's penis?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. And then you have the Mary Herron episode. I don't remember much about that episode.
See, I like that episode. It's probably because you're an American Psycho hater, but I thought it was cool because there's like parts where she's showing how to like build tension by camera angles, and there's like a part where they're both just sitting in this like, kitchen or living room or whatever, and like she's like, you see, you can take shots from like the window, and then you like see like a shot coming in through the window and things like that, and it just shows how like just simple angles like that can really build the tension.
Yeah,
but
and from like a film novice like you, that's stuff that you don't notice ever when watching movies, so it was probably eye-opening.
Fuck you. But, I mean, I don't know. I thought this was probably one of my favorite episodes. Like, I thought it was cool. I think this is also the one, though, with the, I think it's called a mentalist or something. Was, like, the second bit.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing, where he, like, predicted what dude was going to write down or something. Yeah, that I wanted to try that in real life, because it was so cool. Yeah, this guy basically was going to predict what Mickey wrote, or like what number he picked or something like that. And the way he did that was earlier, before they began filming, he kept saying the thing to him in different ways, so like subliminally it was stuck in his head all day, and it was the first thing that he thought of.
If I tried that on someone, it would suck.
Yeah, because you suck.
No.
Episode 6 was Lee Winnell.
Yeah, I don't remember much about this one either, but like Lee Winnell seems cool. That's all I remember.
Yeah, so obviously Lee Winnell, writer of Saw, he starred in Saw. Do you know who he was in Saw?
The younger dude.
Yeah. And he also wrote Insidious, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is huge, and I think he directed Insidious 3. I can't really remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, but he's like massive success in the horror genre. And they were talking jump scares and like how to pull off an effective jump scare, which I really like because I love jump scares.
I don't.
I feel like you do, but you just think
they're scary.
Yeah, isn't that the point of watching horror movies?
I'm paranoid I'm gonna have a heart attack.
You can't have a heart attack.
You could, buddy.
You can't.
It's real.
And if you died and had a heart attack while watching a horror movie, wouldn't that be a good way to go?
I mean, it depends on how good the movie is, I guess. But I don't know. I just always hide behind my hand. So, like, jump scares don't really affect me because I don't really watch them.
It literally boils my blood when we're watching a movie and you do that.
Listen, I've gotten better. I mean, when I was little, I would hide behind my hands watching, like, Scream and stuff. But now it's just the jump scares.
Baby.
Listen, we can't all be perfect.
Okay, the 7th episode was Rodney Asher,
who did Room 237?
Yes.
Correct. And I never watched that, but I feel like it's weird.
Yeah, I've actually never watched it either, but I did see
I thought you did.
documentaries called The Nightmare, which was awesome. It was like, it's a very weird movie because it's like, it's sort of a pseudo documentary where it's like they mix in a lot of footage filmed for the movie to like visualize what people are talking about. So it's almost like part movie, part documentary. It's a weird mix, but it deals with what is it called?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, yeah. And that deals with people who wake up while they're sleeping and can't move and see things and feel things and hear things, but they're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a real thing. I've never had it.
I feel like I might have had it.
Yeah, you're fake.
No, I'm not, dude. It feels like a dream. But it's like you open your eyes and you're like, oh shit. My body is numb, so I'm just gonna go back to sleep.
Well, do you see like the witches and stuff?
No, none of that happened. But like,
well, tonight when you wake up in the middle of the night in a dark room and you can't move, think of a witch,
buddy,
standing in the corner, naked, with saggy boobs, and
I don't like the Blair Witch,
and long fingers, and long scratchy gray hair, and rotten teeth, just staring at you with red eyes.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
But this dude also
did. Good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder. He also did Primal Screen,
which we talked
up on the Shudder,
which seems to have not been successful since they only did one episode.
Yeah, and he's got like that. I think he does it in this like episode where it's like it shows like him. It's supposed to be him as a little boy watching like a big TV. Like they like show that in this, and like it's just a cool thing to me. But I wish like Primal Screen would have worked out because like that's what that whole thing was, like how it was filmed.
And then the 8th episode is starring Spectre Vision, which
I wasn't really familiar with. I didn't realize like Elijah Wood and these dudes like had this like crew like that.
Yeah, apparently Elijah Wood's a pretty big horror fan.
Yeah, this one really surprised me. This might have been like my second favorite or third favorite. Like I just thought it was real interesting. They're like talking about their movies, and then they kind of say like none of our movies are like truly just horror movies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Spectre Vision. I wasn't really aware of them until I heard them on a podcast, minus Elijah Wood. It was the other two. And they were like, you know, talking about Spectre Vision's films. And I was like, whoa, I've actually seen a few of those movies and I like them. So I looked in to see what they had done, and they actually did a few movies. So their first film was Toad Road, which I do own, but I haven't watched yet, and apparently it's pretty good. And then they did a film called LFO, which is more of like sci-fi film. I've never seen it. And then they did a film called Cooties, which I know of. Like it's probably one of their more popular movies because it actually stars Elijah Wood, but I've never watched it yet. And then they did a great movie called Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which was filmed by a female. It's like an Iranian, like Western vampire film. It's described as. It's black and white, really beautiful movie, great stuff. One of the best films of 2015 for sure. Then they did a thriller called Open Windows. Then they did The Boy, the one that Scream Factory released. I've never seen that. And then in 2016 they did The Greasy Strangler. I said they did The Greasy Strangler.
What's my like appropriate response?
Hell yeah, that's their best movie.
I did not watch it, and it looks pretty gross, so I don't know.
It is gross, but it's really funny. Don't be a bullshit artist, Carly.
Dude, that's not even funny.
It's funny.
It's not even like I've seen the clip
bullshit
of that being
artist.
I saw the clip of it
You're
being said, and I don't
artist.
think it's funny. I don't think it's that funny at all, really.
Yeah,
even in context.
You wouldn't think it's funny because you're a bullshit artist.
What does that even mean? Like you're like a fake artist fan, or
no,
like
it's like you're
a fake
artist at bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
pretty
bullshit
self-explanatory.
artist. So
whatever, dude.
And apparently, there's a film that's coming out this year called Mandy. But yeah, they were really cool, man. I remember liking that episode a lot too. I can't remember what they did though. Like besides that, I just remember it being a cool episode.
Yeah, I actually can't remember either.
Yeah. And then their final episode, their season final, was a tribute to Toby Hooper and George A. Romero.
Yes.
This one was cool. Basically, they open up by, talking about George Romero and the losses. They have an interview with Ken Foray. They talk to the DP of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And they talk to the effects artist of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, man, dude, it was really cool to see them talk about all their films and, like, the importance of them. And it was cool because I remember they said that Night of the Living Dead is considered to be, they consider it to be, like, it was just a line of dialogue in passing that Mickey Keating dropped, but he said he considers that to be the birth of modern horror, which, if you are a fan of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, you know that our 1968 show, we picked that year because me and Moods felt like that was the birth of modern horror.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Basically, you're like geniuses, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, pretty much. And after that, I mean, they do like their top, favorite moments from Tobe Hooper and George Romero films.
Tobe?
Yeah, Tobe.
Tobe.
Tobe Hooper and George Romero films.
Yeah.
And there was some cool ones there. I was a little mad though; they spoiled Martin for me.
Yeah, I still want to see Martin.
Yeah,
like real bad.
It's George's favorite movie, so I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do own it on DVD. It's out of print now, so it's hard to get.
Ooh, can I has?
No.
Ooh, okay.
And basically, besides that, they get into their recommendations at the end, and they pick films that... It was funny, because the guy's like, first of all, everybody was inspired by George Romero and Tobe Hooper. So, instead, we're going to look at films that blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean? It was pretty cool, because it's like, it just cements, like, how important those directors were. But it was, they picked some great films. Angst, which is one of the best movies ever in horror. It's so crazy and messed up, which that movie actually inspired some filmmakers as well. Another one they picked was underrated horror film that I absolutely love. I think it's super underrated, and that's Bedeviled.
Really?
That's Bedeviled.
Wow. Where have I heard that one before?
Because I picked it for an upcoming crossover show that me and you were doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, South Korean, awesome, good stuff. And the final thing they did was a little holiday special that came out Actually, I think it came out before episode 8, which was in December. It was like a bonus Christmas recommendations thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they recommended some Christmas themed horror films.
Yeah. So, was there anything that you disliked about the series overall?
No.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't really, like, the only thing is, like, I love the ending recommendations, but, like, sometimes, like, in some of them, it just felt, like, a little too staged for me. Like,
What do you mean?
really, really cheesy.
What do you mean?
You feel me? Like, just the way they're, like, I can't describe it. Mickey's just like, oh, you got some movies for me? I surely want to hear them. And it's, like, every episode, it's, like, him, you know, I can't explain it.
Yeah, they play off
just...
each other great. Like, it's an in-joke.
Yeah, it just feels very, like, staged sometimes, that's all.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
I realize, it's just, like, to me, it's, like, cringy feeling.
Dude, it's literally my favorite segment of this show, so fuck off.
I like it because, like, they're recommending, like, films on Shudder, which is pretty cool, because I always...
And doesn't it always look like they're really, like, interesting? Like I'm just like, shit, I want to watch all of those.
Yeah, especially when they're, you know, they're always, like, have to do with, like, the movie, they're, like, similar to, say, like, American Psycho or something, so it's, like, I always think, I want to watch that because it's similar to that.
And it's always cool because... Like, I've seen a ton of movies. Like, I've seen way more than you. But...
Really?
Like, when they do the recommendations, like, chances are I've seen 2 to 3 out of the ones they're recommending. And I always get excited because if I've seen 2 or 3 of them and I really like those movies, then it leads me to believe that I'm probably going to like the other 2 that they recommended. Because almost every time I'm like, oh, perfect pick, guys. Like, that is a great movie. And, like, they're really good at that. Like, they're picking, like, some heavy hitters, like, every time. Like, they had The Battery on there, which was amazing.
Yeah, I still haven't watched The Battery, but I guess I'll watch it because the show told me to.
Yeah. But, yeah, I really hope this show continues. Do you have anything else you want to really say about it?
Not really. I mean, the host, you know, Mickey, he's pretty cool. He seems like, you know, he could just a regular guy off the streets almost. Like, he just, you know, dresses real casual and he seems really easy to talk to. Like, I could see, like, you doing something like this and, like, fitting in well. Like, yeah. Which I like because he's very,
and, like,
you know, just...
probably, like, he's not, like, super skinny. So, like, it gives me hope because I put on some weight.
Yeah, right. Wonder if he's on the, whatever you call it, diet right now.
Oh, shut up. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a great show. We just wanted to kind of highlight it. Like, this is kind of an odd review because it's like a talk show. You can't really review a talk show. But we just want other people to check it out. Like, if you don't have Shudder, it's only $5 a month, and you have tons of great movie and now original content. The $5 a month... It like the core is worth that $5 alone. Like, I would pay $5 for another season of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So please, if you're listening to this show and you don't have Shudder, hell, they offer free trials. Do the free trial and watch the core.
I don't even notice, like, the money for Shudder, like, coming out of my account or anything. It's like $5.
Mm-hmm. You literally spend more money on fast food every week. Like, one trip to a fast food restaurant, you spent more money.
Yeah.
One trip to Starbucks, you've spent more money.
Definitely one trip to Starbucks.
Yeah. Think of all the dumb things you spend $5 on. And you can get at least, you know, probably like 6 hours of entertainment.
Yeah,
that's
roughly.
That's less than $1 per hour of entertainment.
Just for one Shudder.
And we're not even sponsored by Shudder, even though we should
be. Yeah.
So I'm saying this out of the kindness of my heart. that I hope this show succeeds, and I really wish that you guys support it, and even let Shudder know that you love it. I'm telling you, they listen to stuff like that. I mean, I'm an expert. I got them to essentially get Shudder on the Xbox, and I potentially got them to get Monster Vision / some sort of show like that back on the air. So take my advice. I'm the guy who knows.
Yeah, buddy. You're a hero.
Yeah, what's going to happen now? Shudder Season 2, because I said so.
Shudder Season 2.
Shudder the Core Season 2. Fuck you, man.
Dumbass.
I hate you.
It's like everyone heard it, so it's
I
like
hate
I'm
you.
just. Why?
You suck.
Why do you want to do a pod with me if you hate me so much?
In front of my thunder.
You don't like. You have no thunder, dude.
Dude, you literally have nothing. You're like the Jeremy of you're like the girl Jeremy of podcasting.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Everyone know, your trash bags.
Dude, everyone. Wait, what?
I said I don't know your trash bags.
Dude, everyone like wants me up on their show. No one wants Jeremy anywhere near them.
Like who? Dan Chase.
Jerry loves me. We're buddies. We do a pod together.
Listen, me and Jerry do a pod every week together. We're true homies.
We do it every month, and then occasionally, we talk to each other on the Messenger.
Okay, I talk to Jerry every day on Messenger.
Okay, well, I don't like messaging that much. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, anyway. Oh, you don't like messaging, but you constantly blow me up all the time?
Well, you're an asshole, and I'm asking you, like, legit questions, and you're just responding with, like, LOL, and, like, yeah. K, and, like, yeah, YA, yeah, and then you're spelling, then, like, you'll say something, like, I'll be like, buddy, and you'll be like, but, like, you can't even spell it out all the way, because you're just so busy texting moods.
You're so stupid. I'm getting off of here. This is the end of the show.
No, buddy. Okay.
Take us out.
I'm not. Thank you guys for listening to episode number 14 of the Netflix and Chill Horror Podcast. As always, I am Carly, and I am here with my friend JP. If you want to follow me on the YouTube, my account is Carly317. That is CARLY317.
Why are
if
you
want to follow
Jeremying all over the place?
Because you told me to take us out, and that's what you tell Jeremy to do, and I thought that's what you meant.
No, I just meant like...
I forget how we take out of the show.
I think we just say, like, see you next time, back on the couch.
All right. Well, see you next time, back in my lonely kitchen, because JP is not actually here with me.
All right, that's a wrap.